Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk and Be Geek. That's me. We are at a Quarks Bar special, and we are going to talk tonight about Star Trek Lower Decks, or as I've affectionately decided to start calling it, LDS. I'm sure most Star Trek fans will understand that reference. With me tonight is the awesome Jack Beers, and of course, somebody who has been on hiatus because he's had more important things to do. The man, the myth, the culinary legend, Chef Zilla.
Yeah, it looks like Geeter behind me is giving me bunny ears.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Hey, Darth Astor, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Oh my goodness, guys. Chef, let's go over this. Jack, let's go over this. Okay, so we all saw Star Trek Lower Decks. I know we all didn't want to, but we did it anyway. Chef, you have been out for a while, taking care of more important things. Give me your quick thoughts on it, and then Jack can give his thoughts. I'll give my thoughts, and then we'll start to break it down a little bit.
So I'll be honest. I went into this with an open mind. I was hoping. I am a big Rick and Morty fan, so
Okay.
I had those kind of expectations. So it would be kind of that esoteric humor that we get from Rick and Morty. Man, when you have got a couple of great examples of Star Trek parody in the Orville and Galaxy Quest, to completely fall flat on your face like they did with Lower Decks is it's shocking to me that I mean there was not a single joke to me that landed. I mean I at least thought I'd get a chuckle out of it, but all said and done, I don't think I cracked a smile. And I wanted it to work. I really, we're jonesing for good Trek. Like I said, I'm a Rick and Morty fan, so I really wanted to see what they were going to do with this. I wanted it to work. I have my issues. I mean, we'll talk about the Starship Cerritos, and because my thing is the ships, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But God, I can't see this digging out of the hole as the season continues.
Yeah, Chef, I could agree. Jack? I know you saw it, like I said, but when we were offline, I was at the doctor's office when you started tweeting and doing your famous screenshots of it, and give us your thoughts on just a quick, real intro and your thoughts of this thing.
So initially, I wasn't going to watch it because when I first saw right before I saw Discovery, I was looking forward to it because it was like the first Trek in a long time. And then I got burned. And then they brought in Patrick Stewart and they did the Picard series, and I was really, 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 really hoping that the rumors weren't true and that this was actually a good show. It turned out not to be good. I got burned a second time. So when it came to Lower Decks, I was prepared for failure, utter failure. When I realized that Lower Decks was going to be a type of Rick and Morty type of show, I was more sure that I was going to be disappointed about it because, I know Chef said he's a Rick and Morty fan. I'm not. I don't hate Rick and Morty. It's not for me. I used to like those type of shows before, but I guess maybe it's my age. I don't really like those type of shows anymore. So, or at least they don't appeal to me anymore as like they used to. And so I wasn't going to watch it, but I get like on Twitter, you got Ketwalski. Before Discovery came out, he used to make such good videos, such good Trek videos before all this other stuff came out. But so now I guess he had an early screening of Lower Decks, and he was like, "This was awesome! It blew me away." He said it blew him away, and he really enjoyed it. And I actually saw his review later on, and he was talking about all the stuff he liked about it, and I was just amazed at how shilly he sounded. But anyway, so I posted something. I posted something in response to his tweet about it, and he responded back, "Well, at least give it a chance. Watch a couple episodes or something like that." And so I responded. I was like, you know what? I'll do that. Fine, I can do that. I've done it before. I can do it again. This time, I'm much more objective about it. So that's what I decided to do. And right away, I was noticing stuff. Right away, I was noticing stuff where I was like, I need to show Twitter this. I need to show my followers this, because you had one of the things, like, I'm going to say that I'll say what I like first. I want to say what I like first, because I don't I don't always look at everything negatively, but I like the theme music to it. I thought it was good. I didn't like the visuals for the theme because it felt ridiculous. They had like a nice shot of the ship kind of going in warp, and then all of a sudden in the back it's got like this monster eating at it or something like that. I thought that was dumb. The ship was crashing into shit. Like if they took it seriously, I would have liked it. But that was one thing I liked about it. I liked the fact that some of the interiors were of the ship were good. They actually looked like a Federation starship. They got the L cars right. They got the holodeck right. But there's that, and I didn't see any lens flares. That's the third thing. Those are the three things.
You missed them. They were there when they showed the space dock. The first thing I saw was lens flare, and I went, in a cartoon, we're getting lens flare.
I'm gonna have to look. I'd have to look back at it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but
I don't think I will.
But yeah, I didn't see any lens flares, so I thought that was a good thing. I wrote some notes. I thought some of the slides were so stupid. There's a line where the cyborg guy, after he's introduced, they say, "Oh, don't you have a date with so and so?" And he's like, "Yeah," and she goes, "Oh my God, she's crazy hot." That doesn't sound like something somebody would say in the 24th century. No, that sounds like something they would say today in 2020.
Yeah, it was all modern day vernacular. There was no, I mean, there wasn't even technobabble at all. It was
there wasn't. Yeah,
it was all street vernacular.
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
I'm sorry. Did anyone notice the what I thought this was a minor Star Wars reference about the sand, talking about they don't like sand.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, is that the reference everybody was talking about?
Yeah,
okay, couldn't. I heard that people were saying there was a Star Wars reference, and I was like, I missed it. But I mean, it's not like the. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go into mine on this. Okay, I watched the damn thing, and I've never watched Rick and Morty ever. I don't watch that kind of stuff. It's not my type of comedy or cartoon, and that's fine. If you like it, Chef, I know you said you like it. That's great. But for me, I was watching this. It was like, what really was throwing me off was the difference between the animation in space and the animation in the show. That kept turning me off because we went from what I thought were rather beautiful special effects in the space, and then we're going back to this 2D look like and does anybody remember any of the characters' names? Because I don't remember anyone's name.
Well, we got Mariner is our
Mariner. Yeah, that was the one.
Is our Michael Burnham knockoff? The confident, knows everything, has done why she's been on 5 ships and is still an ensign. Makes me wonder. But and then oh God, what is his name? Bomir. Bomir is the goofball that guy.
I could not pronounce that name.
I couldn't either.
What I couldn't figure out. Okay, so we established one thing in this episode: the ensign, the main protagonist, the ensign, whatever her name is, because I'm not going to remember worth a crap.
The green one?
Yeah, no, not the green one. The
Okay.
the main one, the one that
Okay.
comes in and starts screwing with him after he does, and she even admitted she got
Mariner.
demoted. She
Right,
admitted she
something
got
like that.
demoted.
Yeah,
And
she got in trouble for something. She was on fire. She probably kept getting in trouble, and her parents kept bailing her out.
yeah, that was the key thing too. And I was like, wow, can we talk about privilege much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, when your father's an admiral and your mother's the captain of the ship, where are we going to take this? And especially when we come to find out that as a punishment, she's meant to serve with her own daughter. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Now, didn't we get enough of this kind of silly, pseudo stupid slapstick? Like, this is McHale's Navy crap. The characterization is two-dimensional McHale's Navy.
I mean, as a veteran, I remember how Star Trek used to kind of make itself like a space navy, Starfleet at least.
Well, and this has been one of my biggest issues is all these people that it's like, okay, we make the joke about them living in they have to sleep in the corridors. And
right.
You've seen the people defending them saying, well, we've seen this before. We saw this on the Excelsior. And it's like, okay, number one, you're talking about enlisted crewmen versus commissioned officers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
they don't know what the difference is.
And as a 20-year retired enlisted guy, somebody who's spent time in the Marine Corps and spent time on a Navy ship, trust me, I know what a berthing area looks like.
Right.
That's what they're called. They're called berthing areas.
Yeah, and I know they were trying to make it funny because we all, there's always the talk about, what living on a starship is like. But once again, that's another one of that. I mean, that was probably joke 257 last night that just didn't land. We all know about Romulan Ale. We all know Romulan Ale is blue. It's been a joke since Star Trek II. Where did Romulan Whiskey come from? Why is it now suddenly Romulan Whiskey?
But
now,
by the way,
I'm actually going to say that. Hold on a second, Jack. I'm going to say this. I was very fortunate. I did during one of my times on shore leave, go to the Star Trek experience. I went down to a Quarks bar and ordered a Romulan Ale.
Nice. What did it taste like?
Beer.
Okay.
I think it tasted like beer. I mean, it was an alcoholic beverage, and I was over 21 at the time. But
there's actually a recipe. It's got vodka, blue curacao. I think. Oh, there's a couple other things but yeah, I mean, there's recipes for Romulan Ale, but
they show that when you show the main character, the one who's supposed to be between the male and the female character, and she's drunk as a skunk. I'm like, this is not how you start a Star Trek show. It took me out of it, and then the intro. Oh my god! Now I agree, the intro music was very nice. The visuals were garbage.
Yes.
I mean, you got the ship running into stuff. You got a running away from a Borg cube. Jack, I know you did that because I saw your little screenshot of that. It's like all of a sudden it's running away from a Borg cube. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, this.
The shot is the Romulans and the Borg look like they're fighting each other. The Serenos is like in the bottom. The Borg shoots like one phaser shot at it, and it just like turns around and warps away.
Which we've never seen a Star Trek, which we've never seen a starship crewed by Federation ever like that.
And this is supposed to be funny. Am I missing the joke? I mean, it's like the entire episode. I kept going. Am I missing the humor? I I was lost. I had nowhere to. I had no idea.
I felt like I got the humor. It just I didn't feel like it was funny.
I'm in the
Like
same boat. See, that's
I
the
get
thing.
that kind of humor. I mean, I'm a South Park fan and all that. As I said, I used to watch. When I was a kid, I used to be all into Ren and Stimpy and Invader Zim and those
I loved Ren and Stimpy.
those wacky shows that just they don't make sense. And when I got older, I not as much, but I still respect those shows. But Star Trek was never supposed to be a comedy. You know what I mean? It was never supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be lighthearted. It was supposed to have funny moments, of course. I mean, that's how you fall in love with the cast and the crew and the characters and all that. But like I wish they went. I wish I could forgive them for like the bad animation if they took themselves seriously. If there was like if instead of going the Rick and Morty way or whatever, they actually try to go the.
Be right back. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
You guys continue talking. I will be right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think that if it took itself seriously like the original animated series did, I think I would have liked it much better. I think there wouldn't have been much for me to say about it if they did. Even I could even forgive some of the bad writing at that point because it's animated.
Well, and I think I get what they're trying to do. I get trying to make a parody, but when you look, if we're going to talk about parodies, the two greatest Trek parodies, the Orville and Galaxy Quest, they were still able to make good shows, good movie. Galaxy Quest is one of the best Star Trek movies ever made. And it's funny. It takes its science. It was everything that made fun. It's like, one of the best lines is, Jim Allen comes back from the planet and it's, here's Alan Rickman. Oh, I see you managed to lose your shirt again. And and the crewman is just there to hand him a shirt. How many times did Kirk lose his shirt during the series?
Mm-hmm.
But what they
I was actually watching. I'm going through my binge on TOS, and I got to Space Seed, and I'm like, how did we go from this to this?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to take yourself seriously in an animated show, that's great. Here you go. This is what you gotta. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know what I'm showing there. Obviously, Star Trek: The Animated Series, and I'm gonna watch it after I finish TOS because I still consider that canon. But if that's humor, and humor is very subjective to people. I mean, we all have our different types of humor. I didn't laugh. I smirked one time in the whole freaking thing, and I just was watching it, and I'm like, there's no humor here. This isn't funny. I mean, if they really try to say this is canon, this has got to be some kind of parody. Because there's no way you're going to get away with saying this is canon. If you try to say this is canon,
if they open up and say it's a parody, I can totally get behind that. But you know how they are. They just insist on making this pretend canon.
I think one of the biggest issues I'll be dead honest. I think one of the biggest issues I had was just disconnecting what I want from Trek, disconnecting that into what we were seeing on the screen. Because, it's like I expect science fiction. I expect science in my science fiction. There are things that I have grown to accept that, this is what I want from my Trek. So to see, like, a perfect example when Vandy comes on screen and they're like, welcome aboard. Oh, no, you're going to the lower decks. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this is how you greet?
Wait. I'm sorry. Officer? You called her Bambi, didn't you?
Oh, sorry. What a Tendi?
I have no idea, but it just caught me off guard.
I don't.
I don't remember her name either.
It's like I had to go back and look at the cast list so that I knew, because I don't even know who what the captain or the first the XO first officer. I don't know anybody's name.
Right.
I barely know Mariner, and how do I forget Mariner? I mean, it's
because honestly, it's 100% forgettable. I mean, you want to talk about just being forgettable. This wasn't even funny. It wasn't humorous. It wasn't entertaining. I mean, I
It
don't
didn't make
think,
me
I
think.
mean, between the three of us, and I mean, we're three geeks. We love Star Trek. We love science fiction. And none of us have said a good thing about this show. Well, we said maybe a few small minor things we liked. But when it comes to the show as an overall, it's not good.
Yeah,
It's
it's not.
bad, and it's
no,
you know
it's
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not watching the other 9 episodes. This is it. I'm not subjecting myself to. I subjected
I'll
myself
give
to.
myself to the third one.
I subjected myself to. Well, great, Jack. Now I'm going to have to because I'm going to want to have you back.
But after that, no more. I don't think I'm going to be
Yeah,
able to
All
handle
right,
it
all right,
anymore.
Jack. All right, Jack. I tell you what. We'll all review the first 3 episodes before we finally lose our minds with it.
I only have 3 of these things. I got to go back to Michael's and buy more.
I remember seeing you say that on Twitter, and I was like, God, I needed some of those I needed some of those tribbles.
It's like we talked about it, right? We're all Ren and Stimpy fans.
Yeah.
I was an Angry Beavers fan.
They were good too.
Oh, why can't we get humor like that? I mean, it was irreverent and it was slapstick and it was gross toilet humor. But what I saw on screen was none of that. It just was.
It really wasn't.
It was trying to be shocking to be shocking. It was like, oh, well, we're going to take Star Trek and we're going to completely, we're going to make it what nobody expects. We're going to, and
parts of it,
like our opening screen with the great music, but then you're watching the Cerritos, fall into a black hole, crash into,
right,
getting sucked on by a warp monster.
Exactly.
It doesn't connect.
I did like that too. At one point, I liked where that shot at first, where the ship is at warp and it's going.
The beauty shot, yeah, we got our ship beauty shot.
But then they ruin it by having that thing suckling at it at the end. I don't. It was like, come on, dude.
Can I talk about the ship really quick? This is
go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
So, I mean, I wish Mir were here because he'd be so happy to see an updated Reliant. But let's talk about this for a second. First off, the USS Cerritos is on the back of the saucer section. Every starship since the beginning, NX-01, the name of the ship and the registration numbers are on the front of the ship in front of the bridge, except on the Cerritos where it's in the back. And then why is the secondary hull, the deflector grid, attached to the warp nacelles? Even if you look at the cutaway screen, the cutaway shot, there's actually no power going back from the warp nacelles into engineering. It's in engineering is in the low. Yeah, engineering is the lower decks, and you see the tubes going into the nacelles, but there's no return tubes. And
that's crazy.
And the secondary hull with the primary deflector grid, primary shield deflector, is attached to the warp nacelles, so there's no power because the nacelles don't generate power. It's the core that generates power.
Right.
Right.
The core. The core generates the power. And of course that comes from the lithium stuff.
Yeah, it's a matter-antimatter mix brought on by the lithium crystals,
and the energy from that is sent to the nacelles, right?
Yes. So it travels either up or down depending on your ship into the nacelles, and those nacelles generate the warp field. So the nacelles are strictly for warp drive. They don't serve any other purpose but to help generate the warp field.
I'm so glad that we had already had this I mean, it's faux science, but we already had this science behind it, you
Yeah.
know. And I wonder if these guys even understand that stuff.
But see, and that's what I've always been. That's what's been missing from New Trek all along, is there's no science in our science fiction. You know,
It's become
No,
science
there is
fantasy.
not.
we're
It's
getting
become science
sonar.
fantasy.
Yeah, we're getting sonar in space. So
Right.
New Trek is more Star Wars than Star Trek.
And
Did
that's
it-
the and that's where you're going to run into the problem. Whether we like Star Wars and Star Trek, we don't want Star Wars in our Star Trek. We don't want
Exactly.
Star Trek in our Star Wars.
Exactly.
We don't want monkeys running around swinging through the ceilings on Battlestar Galactica
No,
because it doesn't fit.
no.
It makes no sense. And there was nothing about the show that made a lick of sense to me. I was like, okay, so you're going for second contact. What is the big deal here?
Or
You're gonna go
even
do that,
better,
and
phasers in the mess hall.
Sure.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that. Well, I
So-
mean,
and then I
like
was
this
still talking about
outbreak-
their date.
Yeah, they're
was
having
dumb.
their outbreak. They're having their outbreak, and suddenly everyone has phasers.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
When
And
have
you know,
they ever walked around their ship?
no, they
At all.
haven't. Unless they were in a war, they never carried around their phasers.
Yesterday's Enterprise. That's
Yes.
the only time I remember seeing yesterday's Enterprise. That is the only time I remember seeing everybody walking around with a phaser all the damn time.
And it was because they were at war. So there is
Yes.
precedent for that.
They were,
But they weren't at war.
They weren't at war. And so, okay, I get the second contact thing. It's like, let's kind of do this. Well, we all meet we all make our initial contact. Now we're going to go back and negotiate. What are we negotiating? You know, it didn't make any sense. And the whole weird subplot where Bormart, whatever the hell his name was, our inept lieutenant, tracks Mariner, who's giving out shovels and hose because the bureaucracy is so slow they'll never get it. Once again, let's poke fun at Starfleet because they're so inept that they can't help these people like they need to be helped.
They're really out to make Starfleet the bad guys in these things.
Yeah, I mean, look at what they did with Picard. Who were the villains in that whole thing?
The Federation.
It was the Federation.
Yeah, with the with the insiders, with the Volculans and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no! I mean, the whole thing with the farm equipment. I'm like, give me a break. It's okay. Let's take a little time jump here. He said it is starting 57 something or other. So 57. We all know that they finally got their heads out of their asses with TNG, and from starting 40 something was the set point. So we know this is set 17 years later. And
Something
you're
like that.
sitting here telling me you're gonna sit here and tell me you're gonna have to black market farm equipment? Give me a break. You're gonna have to black market a shovel, a rake, a hoe? Give me a break.
They could have made their own rakes and hoes, to be honest.
If we're making second contact, then they at least have to be technologically advanced enough to warrant making contact with them in the first place. Prime directive is you can't interfere with a pre-warp society. So if we're making second contact, they have warp technology, or Starfleet wouldn't be there to begin with.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. That's a real good point.
Go for it,
Thank you for making
Jack.
that point.
Yeah,
so-
I did want to ask. I did want to ask.
Say,
Did
Jack,
anybody-
I'm gonna say
Okay.
one thing real quick, and then please take over. The last episode I watched before my new medication took me to bed was A Taste of Armageddon.
Oh,
Now,
oh.
how do you go from something like that to something like this? I don't know. I don't know why.
Because these
A couple
writers have
gen-
never seen.
It's just a
Taste
couple
of Armageddon.
generations. Just a couple generations. I did want to ask. Did anybody notice the there's a character on that ship that has the Geordie visor. Did you guys notice that? Okay.
No, I missed that.
So there's a character on that ship that has the Geordie visor, and it made me wonder why they would have that, because I was always under the impression that by the time of the Next Generation, Geordie's visor was already kind of an obsolete thing, and that he could have surgery, he could always have it fixed, but he chose to have that visor on.
Well, and the thing of it is, in the later TNG movies, by Insurrection and Nemesis, he doesn't have his visor anymore. He's got the eyeballs.
Exactly, and he kind of, I believe he did that reluctantly. I believe he made that change reluctantly because his when he was kidnapped in Generations, the sister, the Klingon sister, I can't remember their name right now. Thank you. They hacked his visor, and they were able to spy on the ship while he was walking around. They found the shield modulations of the Enterprise shield modulation frequency, and they were able to destroy the Enterprise. So I think he probably didn't want to, but out of guilt for that, he was probably like, okay, you know what, I need to have this surgery. I need to put these cybernetics into my eyes, and you know.
Well, and also remember, by Insurrection, he regained his eyesight, so he was able.
I thought that was temporary.
Well, it was, but see, this is the thing: is once he got that, you know, once he was able to see, even though probably losing his eyesight once he left, left the Briar Patch. Why go back to the visor when you've actually had working eyeballs?
Well, here's the thing. Here's a little thing to put. They never actually told. I mean, how would Geordie know that that's how they figured out how to get through the shields? Just by watching his visor. And actually, that's a whole nother story. We could talk about that, because why were they able to see everything like we can now and not through Geordie's visor?
Because the plot said so.
Yeah.
Now there is that.
That's true. No, yeah, I had, because the saucer section survived the crash. It was just badly damaged. I'm pretty sure they could have gotten all the sensor data, from the ship, and they could have figured out what had happened and why they had broken their shields.
So yeah, I'm going to put this one out. Yeah, I agree. Since when were garden tools advanced technology as first contact needs warp capability? Yes, I agree.
They would have vehicles, farming vehicles, wouldn't they?
You would think so.
Or at least some type. I mean, how many other nation or societies have replicator technology?
Or maybe replicator technology would have been wonderful.
Now, is it just me? And this is just my theory. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. But why is it the aliens we meet look like look like God from crap? Now I can't remember that damn movie. The South Park movie. I thought he looked a little like the God from South Park movie when South Park did a movie.
No, I remember that, but which character are you talking about?
The one who played God. No, these little individuals on the planet, those little small green little aliens.
Okay, the aliens on the planet. Okay, I didn't get that.
They look like the God from the South Park movie. Yeah,
I didn't get that impression. I if I look back, I probably would see it.
It might just be me. But I'm saying that's the first thing I thought. Is like, oh
because
my God,
you're
ripping off South Park.
South Park's animation is supposed to be bad. That's part of its charm. That's why it was supposed.
They're ripping off everything. I mean,
it's true. They are. They're ripping off everything.
Picard ripped off how many shows?
Oh, jeez.
Discovery season 3 is going to be Andromeda. There's nothing new or original in what we're seeing in Lower Decks.
By the way. This is from Picard. This glass. This is actually on Rios' desk in his quarters. Now, it's not a CBS product. It's not a Star Trek product. This is something that the prop people bought from Amazon so that they'd have a prop up there. And you can buy your own if you looked it up. That's what I did. And none of the money goes to CBS. That's the best part.
How's your Romulan Canar?
My Califa?
Yeah,
your Califa. Sorry, I said it
yeah,
wrong.
It's good. It's
it's in a mason jar, dude. You win the internet.
Oh shit!
I happen to have one, and I figured it would be funny as fuck if I put it in one.
Oh yeah, Jack, that was definitely good because while I was on my vacation a few weeks ago at the cabin, all our glasses were mason jars, and I pulled one out and I poured some beer in it because I was like, you're not gonna not pour beer in a. I'm like, I'm drinking out of a mason jar. I'm like, I haven't done this since I was a kid.
Right.
So we actually, my front of house manager and I chose mason jars to do most of our drinks with. Our owner said no. I was like, dude, these are going to be so awesome. We can do our Bloody Mary with the burger slider garnish in a mason jar. I'm like, this is going to rock. Nope, they didn't want it. I was so disappointed.
There is a background story,
bad, man.
There is a background story on why I chose to drink Califal tonight, and it's because when they broke out with the Romulan whiskey, one of the things they did was they sent boxes, these little swag boxes for lower decks.
Yeah. Trektor was so proud of his.
He was
swag.
He was so happy, and you know what? Good for him. I'm glad he's happy about that because I mean, if that's your kick, then that's your kick. But I mean, like one of the things that was in there was this. It was a little bottle of whiskey, one that cost like $5, probably less, especially since you buy them in bulk, and like what it was it's actually a mixed drink that they do is they add blue kuraku or kuraku or whatever. Thank you. I can never pronounce that. And and that was it. It was already an established mixed drink. They just added the blue shit to it. And so
those got the cops coming to their house.
I don't know. They're coming for me. I don't know.
I
will say I live right next to a hospital. So.
Well, it's okay. I woke up this morning before I went out to the gas station and saw 3 cop cars out there, and I was like, "Oh shit, what's going on again?"
So
thankfully, they weren't at my house this time.
Good. Glad to hear that. So I was gonna finish off, but the drink that they brought out the. There was a lot of people complaining about Romulan whiskey, like come on, why can't you say Romulan Ale or something like that? And there was people that would come out and be like, oh, so the Romulans only have one type of drink? Their entire civilization only has one drink? Ha ha ha! Yeah, bullshit. And I was like, no. The Romulans have more than one drink. They have a bunch of drinks. Obviously, there's a bunch that we've probably never heard of. But one that we have heard of, that's not Romulan Ale, was Califal, and it was from Jesse's favorite all-time Star Trek episode, In the Pale Moonlight, and it was the Romulan senator. I can't remember his name. It starts with a V.
Vernak.
I keep
or
I have to point the right way. I keep pointing the wrong way.
Yeah.
So Vernak. And he says, "Oh, this is replicated. It's the aroma is not the best, but it's a decent approximation or something like that." And a lot of people don't remember that little part. They remember the episode, but they don't remember that little part. And so I always have to remind them, and they'd be like, "I know that episode. Why are you reminding me?" It was like, "Well, because you obviously forgot." Now, there is a thing. So I decided, tonight I was going to drink that. But there is a thing I did learn today. I actually had to. So Memory Alpha. When I was looking for information on this drink, I looked up Memory Alpha. I had looked it up before, but I was looking it up again just for reference, and I noticed that they changed the thing, the wording on it. And before they were saying it's blue, that Califel is blue, not unlike Romulan Ale. And then earlier today, it said it was blue, it was blue, and instead of unlike Romulan Ale, it said something about it. Califel refers to Romulan Ale and Romulan Whiskey in Starfleet vernacular or something like that. And I looked it up. I made sure that there was a change, and there was a change. I copied and pasted it, and I posted it on Twitter. And I said, hey, they changed, for some reason, they changed the definition of what this drink is, and they're not referencing anything. They didn't reference a particular episode or anything. They just made that assumption. And
well, here's the thing.
To Memory Alpha, I just want to say, to Memory Alpha's credit, they did come back to me. They responded to me and they said, hey, we changed it back. There's been a guy who keeps changing it. We keep changing it back. So it's thankfully at its, what it used to be now is it's not unlike Romulan Ale, but it's not Romulan Ale, or the vernacular for it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but I mean,
go ahead.
here's the thing. Even if you want to say Romulan whiskey, okay, and if anybody's saying, well, that's the only drink. Well, the Klingons seem to only drink blood wine.
Well,
Now let's remember how often did what was it in one of my favorite, in another of my favorite of DS9 episodes, he's like,
Don't forget
I've got blood wine, and he mentions year, and he's like, it's a good vintage. And I mean, so there's a certain thing when it comes to drinks that cultures generally enjoy.
Right.
So
I was actually thinking about cooking some spaghetti to pretend to be gach, but I wasn't going to go through all that bullshit. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh boy.
So my big fear of this, right, is that our writers don't know what a parody is. All I saw last night was really hate for Trek.
That's what it felt like, yeah. It felt like they were just making fun of it.
Yeah, and it was and that really was like how we used to be made fun of because we were Trek fans, was what I saw last night. I mean, stuff like we had the engineer who was getting ready for his date, and Mariner changes his mood chip on his implant.
Right.
And suddenly, it just went to Vulcan mood. Vulcan mood. I'm like, why is that even an option? Is that another
exactly
joke? Did I miss it?
Oh, chef, I said the same thing. I was like, why the hell are you? And then what was it? The girl said, oh, my dad was a cyborg. I'm like, okay, creepy much?
Yeah. And then of course, the big thing going around Twitter was we had our very first on-screen Sikh.
Oh, that was in the preview, or like previews for the next episode, something like that.
Okay, yeah. And because I did not see that at all, but I
missed it.
I'm like, what, wasn't Khan a Sikh?
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
We've had
Anna pointed that out.
We've had, they may not have been Sikhs, but we have had Indian captains. We've had but the issue is I thought religion had kind of gone by the wayside by the
Right.
24th century.
That's another
Why
thing.
why is this such a big thing now?
I don't know.
Why are we making such a big issue about it? I mean, it's great they did it. Okay, I'll give them points for that, but you're only doing it to check off a box. It's because it
Right.
hasn't been done before, allegedly.
And the other thing I was disappointed in was they had to literally do the member berry stuff at the very end. The very end of the show, they literally drop names.
Yeah.
And they ask
Yeah.
you, remember this guy? Remember that guy? Remember this person?
Mariner at the very beginning grabs a batleth that she doesn't even know how to pronounce.
And
Right.
she
And
cuts her fellow
yeah.
fellow crewman.
But
Who know-
makes fun of
Okay, that
Klingons
would have got
while
my
she's
ass
doing it.
court. Okay, you know what, Chef, you and I know,
Court-martialed.
and Jack, you know, that would have got our asses court-martialed.
Yep,
Oh hell yeah!
court-martialed.
Heartbeat. But I mean, so are they going to write on that this is what she's trying to do? That she wants to be kicked out of Starfleet because her dad is an admiral and her mom is a captain? But yet, I thought Starfleet was voluntary.
I guess so. Who noticed the little piece of dialogue she had while she was swinging the batleth? After she was like, "It's a bat." I don't know. I'm not a scientist. She says she got it from an old guy with an eye patch.
Yeah. So let's.
Was that
Yeah.
supposed to be a General King reference?
No,
Martok,
I think that was supposed to be a Picard reference.
or Martok.
Oh, or Martok.
Okay, it could be because Picard actually had a batleth that Worf gave him.
Yeah, but when did Picard have a eye patch?
In Picard.
In Star Trek Picard. Don't watch it. Don't watch it, Chef.
Oh no,
It's bad.
I'm like
You haven't watched it? Good. Don't watch it. No, yeah.
unfortunately,
There's a scene where he has an eye patch.
Yeah, but I was like, that's kind of a random thing for Mariner to know, seeing is that Picard's not in Starfleet by that point.
Yeah, maybe you could probably be right, but that was my first impression when I heard that.
I when I heard that, I thought it's like, wait a minute, are they trying to do the member berries and trying to get all us geeks to go, oh wow, Mariner knows Martok?
Probably not.
But like I said,
don't think they know who Martok is.
No. The whole thing just really seemed like it was not a parody. It was to be making fun of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, we all know what it takes to get through what it would take to get through Starfleet Academy, what it would take to be the captain of your own starship. We all have our favorite captains. We've all studied that. Can you see, even as a joke, can you see this crew doing anything other than scrubbing toilets on Earth?
The command bridge crew, 9 out of 10 times, each one of those people have about 4 or 5 degrees on various things.
Oh, to be a captain, you have to be a chief of every. You have to be an expert of each department.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But no, what we get here, we get the bromats. Nothing better than a.
But I don't see any of those.
How about the high five slapping?
Come on. Hey, yeah, no.
Yeah, hey, high five. It's like, okay, I've never seen this in.
Oh, I got to throw trouble.
700 plus Star Trek episodes. I've never seen this.
Yeah, could you imagine Data and Riker high-fiving themselves? Dude, let's go to 10 forward and get a beer. Nothing better.
You know what? The only way I can, I'm pointing the wrong way. In the if it was a Star Trek parody or one of those YouTube parody things, I can totally see it. I can't see it seriously though. That's the thing. And they're trying to have take this as serious Trek in some sort of way. And not serious in but seriously as they want us to like watch it and enjoy it. And
that's my confusion. Do they want us to is it supposed to be funny? Are we supposed to how are we supposed to take Lower Decks?
Who is this for? That's another question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you who it's for, Jack. As my wife said when she saw the trailers, Madam Geek said when she saw the trailer, she said it looks like Adult Swim and it looks like something you watch at 2
Adult
a.m.
Swim. Adult
because
Swim.
you watch it at 2 a.m. because there's nothing fucking else on.
Right.
And my wife said it best there. And yeah,
that is perfect. Actually, that I am satisfied with that. I will click to that. Click.
It's CBS's new marketing concept. Throw enough shit against the wall and let's see what sticks.
That's right.
We're getting a kids show on Nickelodeon. We're getting
and at this point, I'm actually kind of rooting for the kids show.
I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'd hate to see what they plan on indoctrinating our children on Nickelodeon. If
Alex Kurtzman is just far enough apart from the creative process, who knows? I think because Kurtzman was far away from the process with with this one was why we got certain things that I actually kind of thought were good. Where it was like, certain parts of the ship were good, the interior at least.
Who's backing up?
The theme.
Somebody's backing up here. I hear a beep, beep.
Someone's backing up. I don't know. They're not. It's. I can't even see them.
But it's like this is going to be my prediction for the next. Since we're going to go to episode 3, here is my prediction for the next 2 episodes. Ensign Idiot Boy is going to get himself trapped up in some other situational issue. Yep. Ensign Mariner is going to be coming to his aid to saving his his scrawny butt
because she's been on 5 ships.
Because she's been on 5 ships and she's the bestest ensign ever.
Her mother is the captain and her father is an admiral, fleet admiral.
We're going to get the same 2-dimensional characters that are just picture cutouts of here is this person and this person, and this is what we're going to see.
I'm going to put it this way, and I'm glad Space Seed was next on my list, and Taste of Armageddon was on my list of TOS episodes to watch for my binge. I mean, Ricardo Montalban,
wonderful
charismatic
actor.
As hell. You cannot watch that man or hear that man without feeling like, wow, he really can own any role he has. Whether he was on Fantasy Island, Star Trek, Wrath of Khan, you name it. I mean, the guy came back after 40, not 40 years, 20-something years.
About 20.
Not even 20. I don't think it was 20. It was 60. Yeah, anyway, it was close to 20. And he comes back for the role, and he takes the time. He takes the time. He actually asked Paramount, give me a copy of that episode so I can get back into character. And he owned that role. I mean, Ricardo Montalban could steal any scene he's in at that point. There's nothing in Lower Decks that is even remotely appealing. And this is my big issue.
It's going to disappear. The season's going to be done, and no one will ever talk about it.
And I don't know. Let's talk about the nakedness. There's a lot of naked stuff going on in that show.
You mean Naked Trek?
Oh God,
Jesus Christ! It was so like. Here's the thing.
If I wanted to watch, I wanted to see nakedness in Star Trek, I'd watch a porn parody on Pornhub.
But not to say that nobody's ever been naked in Star Trek. I'm not even saying that. I'm not implying that. But the the way they did it before, it was at least a little classy. A lot of people talk about the Hoshi part from Enterprise. There was a moment on Enterprise where Hoshi came down from a ceiling and all her clothes came off and she was naked or something like that. And yeah, I'm not saying that people that haven't been naked on. Picard was naked when he was in. He was held captive by the Kardashians. There are 4 lights. There was a part where they stripped him down naked. So I'm not saying that that's a problem. I'm saying that the way they do it is it's just childish. It's unprofessional. It's so. We
These
haven't seen
people even
the episode yet, but they're in the trailer. They show he's on the
Now where
bridge,
you going?
fully naked, and he turns and he's like, he thinks it's somebody, but it's somebody else, and he
he's
jumps
in the
up.
shuttle. He's waiting to meet somebody in the shuttle.
Yeah, and there's a big black bar, so you can't see nothing. But it's like, come on, dude, this is stupid.
So, all right, let's talk about that for a quick second. So,
yes,
they're getting onto the holodeck, and she's like, "We can do anything." So it's male workout, whatever, right?
Right.
Oh, the naked male work.
Gross.
Oh God, I blocked that out of my mind.
Now, here's the thing: we've all seen.
I would let it pass. I would let it pass if it was one of those like hollow suites, one of like Quarks things.
I don't know.
Starfleet.
We know Barclay got a little weird in his holo program.
True.
But
he
never went there. And in my head, yeah, you're right. He never went there. And in my head, I think they like upped the security protocols for Barclay after that incident.
But okay, so the point I was making here, we've all seen the Orville, right?
Yes.
So we've seen the episode where
Mortis
has his porn addiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going into the holodeck doing porn.
Right.
So, okay. Same general thing. Difference here is, number one, Orville is actually a parody. Did it well. Did it funny. Addressed a social issue.
They did, yep.
What was the point of this one? What was the point of doing it on LDS, which is a cartoon, which children are going to see cartoons? I don't care how adult-oriented they were. As a teenager, I was watching some pretty questionable anime in my time, but that's because it was a cartoon. So what are we saying here? At least with Orville, it's on late at night, and that was within context. This was done just for a laugh, just as a joke, just as a, hey, look, we've all talked about doing this on a holodeck, so let's show that somebody does it.
Yeah, the whole holodeck where the bunch of naked men are jumping around and doing X, I'm like, that is literally where I was like, you've got to be okay. Yes, of course I understand.
That's why I wanted more tribbles. I need more tribbles to throw at the screen for that crap. I got to buy more tribbles.
Oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. I was like, okay, at least when not Lamar, who's the other guy? God, why can't I remember his name from Orville?
Scott Grimes?
Yes, Scott Grimes. Thank you.
That's
at least when
real name. Gordon.
Least when Scott Grimes is making those holodeck videos, I'm like, okay, this I can buy. But because as much as we love Orville, we know it's not Star Trek. We know it's a Valentine to Star Trek.
Exactly. There's a difference. Because they're not Star Trek, they don't actually have to follow their rules. They just choose to follow the rules. But every so often they can like bend stuff. They can move things around. You know what I mean? And that's what's good about the Orville is it kind of freed. If I know Seth MacFarlane was like, I guess he pitched an actual Star Trek show to CBS.
Yes, he did,
and they rejected him, and so he created the Orville. I think he should just stay with that. You know what I mean?
Isn't it sad that Seth MacFarlane gives us a much better parody of Star Trek than Star Trek itself?
You see, that's where I want to go with that, Chef. When I think about the Orville, I don't think of it as I don't think of it as a parody. I think of it as a Valentine. I
And,
think
and
I call it
you're
a
Galaxy.
love letter, but it's
you-
definitely what you say. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
Valentine. Yep.
you're absolutely right. But the Orville originally was kind of marketed as a parody of Trek. What it
I
has
don't
And I think that
become,
was the
think it
genius,
is
and I think
anymore.
that
yeah,
was the genius
but what it has
of Seth
become,
MacFarlane.
yeah, but what
I
it's
don't think it's a
become
parody
is
anymore.
no, it has become Star Trek. When you
Yes,
when you look at episodes like Cause and Effect, or God, what was the name? What was the episode with
Majority rules.
Majority Rule?
Identity.
Majority rules.
Yes, I mean,
Identity parts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Majority Rule. Here's Seth MacFarlane, a screaming liberal who is making fun of social media and liberal democracy, and that's the kind of stand Trek would take. This is the stuff that they were doing. So I'm so happy. They need to hurry up and give us season 3. Damn it.
Oh, I
I
agree.
can't wait.
Oh,
I can't
Oh, I
wait.
can't wait either.
By the way, do you guys want to hear about the whole thing about it being canceled? And then I asked, I
Yeah, I remember you talking about that, and we were all like, okay, I call it bullshit. Because I'm like, I'm not buying this. I'm like, Seth MacFarlane right now is still at the top of his game. I'm not buying that it got canceled.
okay, I'll
But
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, so like earlier this week, there was an article that was released. I can't remember the source, and I'm not going to say the source anyways because I
there's
don't
been
want to.
several actually. I mean, that's the thing. There's been several.
Well, no, this was just one website. This was just one website, and it said exclusive. The Orville is canceled, and I read it, and I noticed that there was no sources that were present. There's no quotes from anyone important that I would believe, and it made me question like where he got this information from. So I found out who the author was, and I found his Twitter, and I tweeted him, and I asked him, "There's no sources for this. Where did you get this information?" And his response was, "It's an exclusive for a reason." And I was a little confused by that because I didn't ask about anything about an exclusive. I know what an exclusive is. They're the first person to, their first publication to get their story out or whatever. That's the exclusive. Okay, fair enough. You got that out. But now what's the source? That's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know is the source. And the response was a reliable source.
Yeah, I remember. I think I remember seeing you tweet that stuff out.
And so I asked, and so as a final kind of out for this person, I asked, okay, so it's a rumor then. And the person was like, you can believe that if you want, but no, it's not. So I stopped responding for them at first, and I switched gears. You all know Tom Constantino. I've talked to him on Twitter. We follow each other on Twitter. He gave me this. He gave me that. He sent me that to me. And so I tweeted.
Hold on a second. Okay. Osmark or whatever the fuck your name is. I don't give
What
a
the
shit.
hell? Oh no, I see this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I know what this is. You know what? I know what that's all about. I know exactly what's all about. And you know what? This is not where I'm going to put that on my platform. So, fuck off.
Okay, wow. Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah, I agree. What the fuck was that all about?
I know exactly. Jack, if you saw my
That's
Twitter
don't
feed
worry about it.
earlier,
I don't want to even hear about it. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
yeah, exactly. But he's comparing two different things. We're talking Star Trek. He's talking about a post I did on Twitter 3 days ago, which
Okay, whatever.
somehow, whatever. I don't care. But we're not talking about that here. That is
Does it
not
have
what this
anything to do
panel
with
is
Star
about.
Trek? Has anything to do with Star Trek?
It has nothing to do with Star Trek. That's
Then I
why
don't give a
not.
fuck.
Yeah,
I
damn
don't give a
right. I
shit.
don't give a fuck either, because I ain't bringing that up on here.
All right.
We are here to talk
Well, I
Star
mean,
Trek. So
we
I'm
could
sorry.
we
Go
could make
ahead
the
and
argument that
continue, Jack.
Oh,
we can make the argument that because we're criticizing Star Trek, that immediately makes us, an ist or a phobe.
well, they tried that the first year and it didn't really work out. Then the second year they started calling us haters. That didn't really work out, and so now they're calling us gatekeepers this year.
Oh well, come on. I've been a gatekeeper since Discovery season 1. I wear that badge with honor. I'm proud to be, a nominated gatekeeper of the Star Trek fandom.
Okay, guys. Hey, we're hitting up on an hour and 5 minutes. I know we're having a great time, and I'd love to continue, but we gotta call it. So let's
All
get
right.
let's get your guys' final Jack, your final thoughts on that first episode of LDS.
Well, I think I've been pretty straightforward. There was aspects that I thought that if they took more seriously instead of turning it into a parody, or if they would just admit that it's a parody and is not canon, I can let it slide. But at the same time, they don't want to do that because this is Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek, and Alex Kurtzman wants you to believe whatever the hell he wants you to believe without any regards to facts or truth or whatever, or canon or whatever had actually happened in Star Trek in the past. He's just going to rewrite that shit anyways. So, I wish I could like Lower Decks. I wish I could like Picard. I wish I could like Discovery, but I don't. And I don't do that because I want to be a hater or a gatekeeper or whatever. I do that because that's just my honest opinion after being a Trek fan since I was like a child. After having an understanding of Trek since I was a little kid, to now where I'm 37 years old, I think I have an understanding of Trek. Not everyone's going to agree on it, but they can't say that I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's all that matters. I think just being able to have your opinion out there. I can't control what they take of my opinion. I can just control my opinion. But I'm so glad to just be able to express it in this type of world.
Well, thankfully we have that ability.
Yep.
Jack, thank you for that. Chef, your thoughts on the episode?
Well, since we've now obligated ourselves to the next 2 episodes, they at least set the bar low enough that
my apologies.
They set the bar low enough that it's going to be, it's not going to be difficult to deal with expectations. To kind of echo what Jack was saying, I've been a Star Trek fan for 4 decades. I've loved Trek for over 40 years, and to be in this position where I now don't understand, like I'm confused because
right.
I
agree.
That's a good point.
Get it. I don't.
Beautiful point.
Are you trying to make fun of it? Are you trying? Where are you going with this? It's disconcerting, and I'm not a fan of that. I wish for the days of good writing. Come on, Braga, come on, Ronald D. Moore, step up.
Oh God, I would kill for Ron. I would beg Ronald D. Moore. I would get on my knee. You know what? I don't bend the knee very often, but I would bend the knee to ask Ronald D. Moore to come back.
Check out, if you get the opportunity, you need to check out For All Mankind, that series that Ronald D. Moore did, where the Soviets beat us to the moon during the space race. It's about
really?
It's about 12 episodes. It's on Apple TV. but you can see it. Absolutely loved it. Series was fabulous. I
That sounds interesting, actually.
highly recommend it. Yeah,
I am
totally.
such a space junkie. Yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely check it out.
Jack, you need to check out For All Mankind.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna actually, Chef. Thanks. I'm definitely gonna check out. Here's my biggest thing. Okay, first off, I've got two factors that really ticked me off about this show. One, the comedy was flat.
no,
Flat is about
it
as you
was no
can get.
comedy.
There was no humor. I smirked once, and I only smirked once when the captain was talking to the freaking admiral, and the admiral hung up on her, and I'm like, okay, I can slightly relate to that. But that was about it. And the rest of the show was like, wait a minute, now you're telling me she's the daughter of the captain? I'm like, this
Yep,
doesn't really help your show at all. And
I agree.
the cinematography, the going between the what I thought was very beautiful. The space scenes were very beautiful, but then we go back to the 2D animation, which I don't mind 2D animation. I completely like it. But I'm like, you've got to pick your animation. You got to decide how
Agree.
you're going to do the show. You can't just flip flop. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean because um, like they seem to, yeah, when the space scenes come, they actually look like they put money into that, and then when the actual character interiors with the characters talking amongst each other, character building or whatever, it's 2D and it's very bad. You know, it's very bad animation, in my
So,
opinion.
so yeah, what are we trying to copy South Park because we can't copy? We got to copy everything.
And even South Park made fun of themselves in their own movie
Oh,
with
Oh
the
they
yeah, they did.
in
got the
regards to
point
the animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the animation's all crappy, and then they do the, yeah, it was wonderful.
Oh yeah. Well, when they got called out on their animation, they made it worse by introducing Terrence and Phillip.
That was
That's
great too.
that's what
Terrence and Phillip, mwah.
Terrence and Phillip was about. Were about those people that were like, well, South Park got such horrible animation. Matt and
Oh
Trey
man,
said,
we got to do a live stream on South Park, dude.
Matt and Trey said, hold my
Hey
beer.
Jack, hey
Terrence
Jack,
and
we'll do
Phillip.
it on. All right, hey guys, great stream tonight. Thanks for having fun. Sorry about the SOB. I know the guy who I muted. I
Don't worry
know
about
what
it.
he's pissed off about. And Jack, I'll tell you offline. You probably know. You see my Twitter. You know what I do.
I think I know what it is. I don't want to talk about it either.
No, exactly. This is not what this platform is for. So, everybody, LDS, Star Trek Lower Decks. Oh, I know we're gonna commit to 2 more episodes. I know it's gonna be painful, but we are gonna have so much fun talking about it.
I
I
like
mean,
talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
All right, everybody.
we're gonna need our support group to get through it. Is what it is.
I think that's what it
Exactly.
is. This is a support group.
Exactly. To the chat, everybody, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming by. Darth Haster, Purple Lady, Darth Sweeney, everybody else, except that asshole who decided to come in. Peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.
Amen.
Honor to your family.